Now it's time to reach out to all of our Republican and conservative friends and say with one voice, it's time to come home. It's time to come together to ensure that Hillary Clinton is never elected president of the United States.
GOP Vice Presidential nominee Mike Pence praising Democrats and independents who are supporting Donald Trump and telling other Republicans it's time to come home. Let's bring in our panel. Sevugan is a former senior spokesman for President Obama's 2008 campaign, the former DNC National Press Secretary, and David Avella is the chairman of GOPAC, a committee that works to elect Republicans to federal and state offices. It's great to have you both. We asked an interesting question in the tease to this segment. David, is it too little, too late to call Republicans home?
No, it's exactly what we should be doing. As Ben Franklin counseled as he signed the Declaration of Independence, we Republicans must hang together or we most assuredly will hang separately. And if Mike Pence communicates that message, but let me say this as well. If Donald Trump were ever going to pledge his fortune to buy the advertising to get around the media and communicate what he wants to do as president, which will bring Republicans home, now's the time to do it.
We'll see if he does it. I think he's opening a hotel tomorrow, so that's one of the things that we'll watch for. Ari, you know, it is interesting when you look at polling. Donald Trump really doesn't have all the Republicans. Like Hillary Clinton tends to have a lot of Democrats. Donald Trump is still polling lower amongst Republicans. He does have independents, though. So if he's able to galvanize the Republicans that have been a little bit timid towards him, what do you think that could mean for the election?
Well, the question here is, what do they have to come home to? I mean, Donald Trump, with Mike Pence's help, has burned down the House. This is a candidate who's attacked the foundation of democracy. Why would you want to come home to that? This is a candidate who's attacked religious minorities. Why would you want to come home to that? This is a candidate that has bragged about sexually assaulting women. Why would you want to come home to that?
So interesting. So you say, Hari, it's really the way that Mike Pence is defining this, saying you can't, you know, you're not voting for Hillary Clinton, come home to us. But you said the message would be stronger if they defined who the GOP is today?
Yeah, but that's the problem. They haven't been defining that. I mean, Donald Trump the other day had what he called a major policy speech. He led off that speech by threatening to sue women who had claimed that he had sexually assaulted them. There is no defining message for the GOP other than Donald Trump. You know, it has been a candidacy of his personality, and his personality is turning everybody off.
David, I'm curious what you think about what Hari has to say, and also what the very conservative columnist Bret Stephens wrote in the Wall Street Journal today that sounds very familiar to what our Hari is saying right now. He says this: I don't see the point of belonging to a party on the increasingly dubious assumption that it's slightly less bad than the opposition. If I can't get my grand old party back, I'd rather help build a new one. What do you think about that, David?
There are three reasons for Republicans to turn out this cycle. One, it's to elect Donald Trump. Two, it's to defeat Hillary Clinton. Or three, it's to support Republicans up and down the ballot. Look, the reality is thousands of Republicans are going to get elected in 2 weeks. And those individuals that get elected are going to do more to define who the Republican Party is and what policies that they champion than anything. But to Hari's point, the reason to vote for the Republican ticket is because the alternative is Hillary Clinton, who has proved inept at foreign policy, wants to increase taxes. She has talked about that. Wants to continue the health care system that we currently have and only expand on it, which are all the things that have the American economy as sluggish at 3% as it has been in over a decade, and hence why you see Americans struggling every day because there aren't the good paying jobs to move to get to. The economy is sluggish, and they're all concerned about their personal safety. Now, if you want to continue those policies, you vote for Hillary Clinton, which is what she has advocated for 30 years.
Okay, so you both have a long list of why you shouldn't vote for the either candidate, and you're both very good at it at this point in the campaign season, I must say, as I pay a compliment to both of you. All right, I am curious what you think about what David had to say when it comes to the undecideds, because that's something we have on repeat, right? It's all about the undecideds. Often it's about the independents, and I did mention in multiple polls, it looks like the independents are going to Donald Trump. So what about that?
Yeah. Well, look, I think those polls have shifted, and there's actually, and we're pretty close in it, the independent number. But let's think about where we are. We're 2 weeks out from an election, and Mike Pence and Donald Trump are talking about getting their base. They're not talking about undecided voters yet. They're still talking about getting their base. At the same time, Democrats are really energized. We look at the numbers coming in from Texas today. Harris County, which is where Houston is up 40% in early vote. Dallas County is up 80%. Travis County, where Austin is up 100% in early vote. Democratic ballots in the state of Utah are up 33% from this time in 2012. Democrats are energized. So even if Donald Trump is able to hold on to his margin, very small margin with independents, the numbers just aren't there.
Okay, quick final thought from me, David, because we're going to talk about Texas next. So just weigh in on that. What about Hari's point that turnout and enthusiasm seem to be up across the board? It's not just for Donald Trump.
Well, we're going to find out on Election Day, but the polls, just because a poll comes out today is suggesting it's close, doesn't mean in the final assessment that Texas goes Democrat. That would be astounding if it did. That states like Georgia, which Hari and the Democrats always talk about putting in the Democrat column, but consistently vote Republican. Same for Arizona. So, you know, look, a lot's going to happen in these next 2 weeks. And getting back to our first point, the best thing Donald Trump can do right now to help his cause is get advertising up that's going to tell Republicans and independents and like-minded Democrats what he wants to do to move this country forward. And as we know from history, voters do shift in these final 2 weeks if they haven't already cast their vote.
Well, if the World Series teaches us anything, it's that anything can happen, right? Cubs and Indians. There you go.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see what here goes from here. All right, David, great to have you both. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jenna.
As was just mentioned, early voting underway in Texas. So why are folks there lining up?